So I'm still here in Little Rock, and it's an hour past my appointment time now. So I go up to the security office, and I start to say, yeah, I checked in earlier. He said, well, he interrupted me before I could even get that whole sentence out. He says, well, did you get a call yet? It's like, no, but, well, we told you when you checked in. He interrupted me twice. We told you when you checked in, we call you with a door. Like, I understand that, but it's an hour past my appointment now. Well, we can't control that. It's like, if you would let me finish speaking through one whole sentence, this would be a lot smoother. And he's like, but we already told you, we have your number. We don't control the receiving office. All we can do is call you when we have a door. I'm like, okay, now I'm going to finish my sentence so that we can get through this and I can go back to my truck and wait. And he sat there with his arms crossed, with a glare on his face. I was like, now, we're an hour past my appointment. I have to do my due diligence to come up here and make sure that you have my information correct. That way you're not sitting there trying to call me and I'm not answering. So, well, we wrote the phone number on the bills. It's like, it doesn't matter. I need to come up here and check. Since you keep interrupting me, I'm going to get a little louder now so you can understand me. I need to come up here and check, make sure you have my information correct on your thing. That way I'm not sitting out there for 4 or 5 hours waiting on a phone call that you're making and I'm not getting. Because we're an hour past my appointment now. I need to make sure you have the correct information and that you're not sitting there trying to call me and I'm ignoring it or not getting it because it's not my phone number you're calling. And he's like, well, we wrote it on the thing that's on your bills that you have. It's like, man, just look down at the sheet of paper and find my name and read out my phone number for me, and I'll go wait in the truck and wait for a phone call. It'll be that simple. Ease my mind so I'm not sitting here wondering, well, everything will be fine. And he huffed and he looked down and he read it really aggressively. I'm like, all right, buddy, have a good day. I'm going to go wait in my truck now. I can't tell you how many of these security guards I've run into that act that way. Let me tell you what would happen if I showed up here, even if I showed up here 3 hours early, right? And somehow or another they got one of my numbers mixed up on his little sheet there, and I'm waiting in the staging area. And say maybe I fall asleep because I've been working all night and maybe I fell asleep. And 4, 5, 6 hours go by and I still hadn't got a phone call, which is what's happened. 4 hours has gone by. I didn't fall asleep yet, but I'm starting to get tired, so it's like, man, I better go check and make sure they got that stuff right so that if I fall asleep, I'll wake up when they call me. But say I did fall asleep and they had been trying to call me and they got maybe, a 1 mixed up with a 7 or something. I don't know. People write stuff weird sometimes. And they were trying to call me and they called 3 or 4 times and couldn't get through to me. They'd stop trying to call me. And then I'd wake up and I'd go down there and be like, hey, I hadn't gotten a phone call yet. We called you a bunch of times and we couldn't get through to you, so we gave your appointment to someone else. And then they'd find me, they'd charge me a late fee or tell me to reschedule the load. And then my company would also take away the incentive that I have for getting everything delivered on time. So I'd lose money here, I'd lose part of my paycheck, and he's gonna have an attitude with me for double checking with him. Like, I just want to double check. I'm not trying to be confrontational. You've interrupted me every time I try to speak. So it's a simple thing. Just look down. Here's my name and company. Just read me that phone number. Make sure you have it right for my peace of mind. It's literally all you're here to do, man. He sits in that guard shack and checks drivers in, takes phone calls from the receiving office to the driver, checks seals. That's his whole job. But the moment I asked him to do something to clarify information that way that everybody knew everything was correct, it was a problem, and he had an attitude about it. I do not understand why so many people operate that way. It happens in truck stops and gas stations and restaurants, everywhere you go, there's always somebody that when you ask them to do the thing that they're there to do, they get pissy. It blows me away. Just been a day. So I finally got unloaded in North Little Rock, and I didn't even mess with my phone or anything leaving that place. But I basically get out of there just in time to get up here to pick up my next load, and they're not ready for me yet. They're going to be another 4 or 5 hours before they get me in the dock to get loaded. So I guess the plan now is just try to get some sleep and try to creep over there and get in the dock door when they come out and tell me they're ready for me, and creep back over to somewhere else to park in this little area, and try to get as much sleep as I can here, 3 or 4 hours at a time probably, and haul back to Kansas City as soon as my break's over. That's gonna be a fun one. Looks like rain. Alright, truck needs a bath anyway. They got me loaded. Like 2 hours earlier than they said they would, so that's good news. And I'm waiting on bills and paperwork. And I'm gonna park right next to that trailer for the next 6 hours. Try to get a little sleep today. See that guy? Right there? At 6 o'clock, he told me 10 minutes, I'll have your bills. I got my bills. If you're wondering, this is how fast I have to go as to not trigger my automatic logbook to say that I'm working. Because if I don't do that, then I'll just start my 10-hour break over and not be able to get this load delivered on time. toilets on trucks. And it's illegal to pee outside. I mean, everybody does it a little bit, but try to avoid it as much as possible. And I'm not at a truck stop.
made it to my receiver here. They're unloading me now. And after that, I just need to get some sleep. Take a full 10. Get this trailer washed out, take it to the yard, go home. Be there by tomorrow morning. Got lots of stuff to do when I get there. So. But that's going to do it for this video. I'm going to get in here and do some editing and get some sleep. Hit the road in the morning, get home.